Hello and welcome to We Could Do It Better. We've got with Grant and Jonah. Grant's once again coming around. We've got a packed episode for everyone. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world right now. We're gonna start off a lot of movies stuff, some
Fantastic
TV show stuff.
Four trailer came out.
We will get to that later because first we've got some Grammys.
I did not watch the Grammys.
I watched clips and I was online.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't have a TV in my room.
Yeah.
Because I'm almost 21, but I still live in the dorms.
No shade. No shade.
Yeah, and I don't feel like buying a TV. And also it takes up a lot. The dorm rooms aren't very big, and they take up a lot of room.
Yeah.
And, when I'm just watching TV shows, I can just watch them on my laptop.
Sure.
But anyway, a lot of stuff. I think the Grammys this year I think they were better this year than they usually like in terms of, especially in terms of their selections.
Right. I saw some news, but I don't think I've seen an award show, and I might have watched the Oscars last year, but that was about it.
Yeah. Beyonce won for best album of the year and best country album for Cowboy Carter. Probably a good choice. They had this was the first time winning album of the year, so they needed to give it to eventually to her.
Mm-hmm.
Kendrick Lamar won 4 or 5 awards just for Not Like Us,
which is the most devastating blow to Drake.
Yeah, and he won record of the year, song of the year, rap song of the year, rap performance of the year. He also might have won rap music video. I forget.
I think you're right. I didn't even know that there was. I don't think I watched the music video, but
he released a music video like you, but it's very good. He also wore a Canadian tuxedo, as that's what it's called, where it's if you know what, and I don't know, it's very good.
All denim, essentially.
Yeah, all denim. Doechii won rap album of the year, which I think she deserved. It's very good, especially Nissan Altima. Chaperone won Best New Artist, which I guess is deserved, but also it's kind of weird that she got that because she's not a new artist. She's been around for a long time.
Sure.
It seems like they kind of just give Best New Artist to, hey, this artist is under the age of 30 and this is their first year on the charts.
I think it definitely has something to do with the charts. I don't know any of this Grammys requirements, but I mean I feel like she definitely blew up last year.
Yeah, but she's been around for a while.
Sure.
And I think in recent memory, the only best new artists, for their actual to get the award for the actual debut was Khaled and Olivia Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Billie Eilish got at one point, and that was her second album, and her first, and her album was 2023. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, she deserved it. She was good. Sabrina Carpenter won pop album, which I guess fine. Charlie XCX won best dance album / dance performance. Shakira won best Latin album, and Dune 2 won best soundtrack.
Stolen from Deadpool and Wolverine. I swear to God.
Was Deadpool and Wolverine in the running?
No.
Okay.
I still sometimes listen to it so I can feel it.
Yeah, just so you can feel it. I think Dune 2, I mean, we talk about nerd stuff. I think the soundtrack for Dune 2 was amazing.
I still have yet to watch
You
Dune.
haven't seen?
Nope.
It's good. There's some cool fashion stuff. Not as usual. I think the highlights were Kendrick Lamar's Canadian tuxedo, and then Lady Gaga had a really good outfit. It was this black dress, and on the YouTube video we'll put a picture, but also you can see what it looks like. I think it's really cool. She slayed. But now there comes a question of what Beyonce's next album will be, because for those of you who don't know, Beyonce is on a thing now where every album that she does is a new genre. This last one was country. The one before that was house music.
Let's say some EDM.
I think I was trying to think of what the funniest one would be. Someone said ska. I think that would be hilarious if she did a ska album.
Metal would be fun.
Metal or
Rock
new metal. Just get her completely out of. I think that'd be very fun because she is talented and she could probably do whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if she can. I mean, I'm not a big fan of ska or new metal, but I think that those would be the funniest.
Yeah.
Versions. And then, just as long as we're here on my personal soapbox, I think Billie Eilish got robbed. She didn't get anything.
I saw she lost. She was nominated 6 or 7 times and lost nearly every single time.
Which is bonkers to me because like for all of because like this is her first year like every other year that she's released something since 2019 she won like best like I or actually she might have just won like the Oscar. Actually no, I don't think she won last year for what was I Made For. She might have just won the Oscar for that. I don't know. But her last two albums she won stuff for. And like I think this one was better than her last two albums.
I have no idea.
And definitely like it's crazy that like I think she should have won best pop album.
Yeah.
And I also think Remy Wolf got robbed. Remy Wolf, I mean, I think this is the main problem with the Grammys, that it's so much of it is like chart based, and I think like Remy Wolf is like her pop album was better than most of the pop.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't even nominated for anything.
Yeah.
But that's just my soapbox. Some artists also made some statements. Kendrick Lamar dedicated his win to like the city of LA, like who's obviously like recovering for wildfires and stuff, and Kendrick Lamar's from LA. He cares about a lot. Chappell Roan spoke out against the mistreatment of artists by record labels and called for them to like pay for the health care of the artist, which is cool. A lot of people are giving her stuff for that. Lady Gaga said trans people are not invisible, trans people deserve love, and then Shakira dedicated her win to her immigrant brothers and sisters and vowed to always fight with them. So I mean, I think it's cool when artists could just talk about themselves, but then they decide to kind of bring people's attention to that. Yeah. I know that's not everyone's opinion, but that's cool. Moving on to Multiverse of Movies.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four trailer happened.
It did, and I think like most of the internet have thoughts, mostly positive, mostly.
Yeah. You got up at like 7 a.m., right?
Yeah, 6:45 to watch the trailer drop because I wanted to be among the first, and I was tuning into the live stream, and everyone was like they were all talking about Marvel Rivals for whatever reason, but the Fantastic Four trailer release window got switched up so many times in the past, before it released, like in the past 48 hours before it released, like people were switching because it was supposed to debut on Good Morning America, and then Marvel Studios put out a link saying, hey, you can just watch it here on our YouTube page, and then they ended up kind of still being affiliated with Good Morning America, but yes, it did drop on February 4th, F4.
Yeah.
Which if they were going to do it, they had to do it that way. Unless they were going to wait till April 4th, which would have been even worse. But yes, I woke up way earlier than I needed to watch this trailer, and I was then pranked in the most hilarious way. I was kind of mad at first. But it was an hour-long live stream of a rocket ship countdown. And I was trying to search for Easter eggs in the beginning, and maybe there were. Maybe there were some things that I missed. And occasionally there would be like this program is brought to you by the Future Foundation, which, if you don't know what the Future Foundation is, it's an organization that Reed Richards starts up to, I guess, further society into technology. So after an hour, we actually got trolled again just before it got released, and it was it's like the clock reset for another hour, and everybody was losing their minds because they're like, there's no way they're going to make us wait another hour for this. And then like I think something probably went AWire over there, because then went back to 30 minutes for a countdown, even though it already had pretty much hit zero. It was a freaking mess, but we did finally get it. And there was a really, I was not impressed with the interviewer, because they all had, because right before the trailer debuted, they had Pedro Pascal, Joseph Quinn, Vanessa Kirby, and Eben Moss-Backrack. Currently, like, it was kind of, it was a premiere at like a space center.
Yeah.
And they all like put their hands in and pressed a button, and suddenly the trailer started. But the interviewer was not that great. Like she was asking some like really strange questions that she was trying to, get some information out of the actors and actress that, I was like, just wait for the trailer. But yes, so that's kind of my little introduction into the Fantastic Four. But you've got some reactions, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to straight.
There was, I mean, yeah, we can just kind of get into it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. I don't know if we're really gonna summarize it because it's a minute 30 seconds.
Right.
Like I was very impressed. I mean, we are making a big deal in a trailer, but this is kind of like something that we've been waiting for a really long time. We've never really seen like a fully good Fantastic Four movie, and that's kind of like the base of everything. The style, I think, was the first.
It's so cool.
Thing.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Like there's a little bit of WandaVision in there, but
of course, because it was directed by Matt Shackman.
Yeah.
WandaVision.
It's directed by the same person, and they kind of like but like but it's also like clearly like Fantastic Four and like more and like they're calling it retrofuturistic, like 60s, like either like just like Fantastic Four in the 60s or kind of what people thought that the future was going to look like when they looked in the 60s. They're like, yeah, there's gonna be like flying cars and stuff, but there's not gonna be, but like we're still gonna use 4:3 aspect ratio on our television,
right? But what was interesting is the trailer started off with a very retro aspect ratio.
Yes.
And that already got me thinking because most of the aspect ratio was when it was showing flashbacks.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that if we get any sort of flashbacks, because, Marvel's already come out and said, like, this is not really an origin story. We might get some flashbacks, and I think that's probably, if we get an aspect ratio in the actual Fantastic Four First Steps, it's probably going to be for those flashbacks to show that it did happen in the past, and it might just all be like found footage of them going up into space.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I was aware that they said that it wasn't going to be an origin story, but the trailer seemed very much about kind of their origin of like going to space and going back. So I was a little like, that's weird. Maybe they're just going with like a rocket launch vibe, but like they're the ones who chose that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like the way it looked, the set dressing, the
so cool.
During the trailer itself, the visual effects, it looks so cool. It looks like nothing we've ever seen before, but like, yes, this is the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Herbie.
Herbie looks amazing.
Their robot housekeeper guy looked amazing. It looked like weirdly practical. And kind of like in this Jetsons way. The Thing looked amazing. Evan Moss Baccarat, he was kind of doing like, there's a little bit of Jack Kirby in there, because like Jack Kirby, Thing is like based on
Jack Kirby,
Jack Kirby, and he kind of like, I think, changed his voice to talk a little bit more like him.
The internet, because I've been keeping up with all the trends surrounding The Thing, because he's been the talk of the trailer, and a lot of people, almost myself included, the first time I watched it, seeing The Thing, like Jack Kirby had intended, was very strange to me.
Yeah.
Very strange. Because, you had the pretty massive unibrow that The Thing kind of has, and the perfect, blue eyes, and just the texture of it. It looked real, but my mind still wasn't comprehending.
Yeah, he looks great. He looked better than any of the other things that we've seen. I mean, I like the 2000 version, like the super practical one. I didn't, but like also you can't like. It's also a pain, but like it looks even better than that. It certainly looks much better than the Fan.
But like the sounds of when he sticks his pinky in his mouth, because him and Herbie are cooking, like they're making what I only can assume to be family dinner. Like he sticks his pinky in his mouth to taste like the sauce that Herbie is making, and the first sound, I was like, that sounds weird. I'm not sure if that would be the same sound, like if a giant rock monster stuck his pinky in his mouth, if that would be the same sound. And then like the clapping almost threw me off. Like I was kind of almost expecting like a heavier clap.
I liked it. I thought it was cool because if he's like trying to like clap hard, it'd be hard, but he needs to figure out how to like, touch stuff delicately.
But it did kind of threw me for a loop. I'm much more accepting of this now. I mean, I wasn't ever rejecting this as the Thing. Like this is clearly the best thing that we've gotten in a Marvel movie ever. But it just kind of threw me for a loop because I'm like, it's like he was ripped straight off the pages of a comic book, and I was in awe.
Yeah. I mean, I love how stylized it is. because I think that's one of the things that Marvel needs to do more.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about many of the shows is how they feel different than the movies. They have, like, each of them have their own feelings. I think Hawkeye probably less so, and Miss Marvel somewhat less so, but especially like Loki and WandaVision and some of the other ones. And there's kind of this feeling of I with this trailer, they're very much playing in the, like, this is like 60s, like, idyllic America, but also it's a commentary on the 60s. Like, 60s weren't actually as great as, like, we talk about
poverty everywhere.
Yeah, and just, like, if you're not, if you're, like, not like a white person, it's obviously not great. And they use that to kind of play on the Fantastic Four, because especially at the very beginning, like, the Fantastic Four kind of, like, presents as this, like, idyllic thing, but they also, like, fight a lot.
Yeah.
And they have, like, a lot of, like in Fantastic Four #1, like, when they get back to the ground, and they find out, like, what happened, like, I'm pretty, like either Ben or Johnny just starts rushing Reed.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're mad because Reed kind of assured the team. I mean, and Reed did feel really guilty because this was his whole orchestra, essentially. Like,
yeah.
he was responsible for everyone getting their powers, and now he's got tremendous guilt because of it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that they're playing with, like, that family dynamic really well, which is, like, a lot of what the Fantastic Four is about. Is, like, them projecting to the outside. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
We get to see, like, the Fantastic car.
Yeah.
Right, which was driving and not flying. But
it did. I don't know if you knew about this, but it did premiere at Comic-Con last year.
It was San Diego?
I think so. It was flying over the audience, and it came to pick up the actors so they could go shoot the rest of Fantastic Four First Steps.
Oh, I don't know. I might have seen something about that.
Yeah.
And we also see Galactus.
We see Galactus. Galactus looks like Galactus. He's not a freaking cloud of debris trying to suck up the Earth, which, thank God. He looks amazing. I mean, clearly he's got the, similar powers that he's had in comic books, video games, stuff like that, where he can grow and shrink in size, because usually he's much taller than the Earth, but in the trailer he's seen looming over the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, he seemed more akin to what he was, because, like, he couldn't like grow originally. Originally he just had, like, a spaceship.
Right.
So he and he was kind of like small, like maybe like the size of, like, a skyscraper.
Right.
And so he seemed closer to that. Like he there's a really good shot of him, like, dwarfing the Statue of Liberty, which I think was really cool. So yeah, I am curious to see how Galactus is going to try to eat the Earth, or maybe succeed in eating the Earth.
I do think he will be able to expand in size. I think he.
You think so?
I'm like 75% sure he's going to be able to do that.
I mean, I don't know. I like the spaceship thing.
Unless he grabs just some freaking huge fork and knife and just starts cutting into the Earth and eating it like that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I like the original spaceship thing. I realize that it's kind of campy and silly, but also that's just, like, it's also just pure Kirby.
This is going to set up some of my theories I've got down the road, but during the Good Morning America interview, the interviewer had asked Vanessa Kirby about Invisible Woman potentially being pregnant, and Vanessa Kirby really dodged the question. And I'm now wondering if the title, Fantastic Four First Steps, is referring to maybe a baby Franklin or Valeria Richards.
That's interesting, because I did notice, I was like, okay, because I watched it a couple times, more than I was intending. I was like, okay, some things aren't here. And Franklin, Valeria Richards, and Alicia Masters aren't there.
Mm-mm.
And this clearly, like, takes a lot of stuff from Hickman's run.
Yeah.
And they're also older.
Right. They've had their powers for a while. They're already well-established celebrities. If they've been saving New York City for a while at this point. That's why they're so beloved and established.
Yeah. So it was like, it's kind of weird that Franklin and Valeria aren't there. I mean, I like if they don't show up, that makes a choice. But I didn't realize. But, like, I don't realize how I didn't, like, make that connection, like, First Steps.
Right. I mean, I was kind of, because she had brought up First Steps. I'm like, people talk about First Steps in when talking about babies all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be a really good cliffhanger, like something at the end where finally whether it's the welcoming the twins or just a little baby bump. But yeah, no, super. Because if you know anything about Avengers Secret Wars, Franklin and Valeria Richards are pretty vital to
Yeah,
Secret
especially
Wars.
Franklin.
Right. So it'll be interesting because clearly they're going to have to be pretty aged up by the time Secret Wars hits MCU in 2027, right?
2026, I think.
Okay.
No, yeah, no.
Because Doomsday is 2026.
Yes, so it is 2027.
Okay.
There's also I missed this, but the thing was also wearing a trench coat and a hat and kind of looking like sad.
He misses looking like Ebon Moss-Backrack.
Yeah.
wouldn't?
So that was cool. So there's also a wizard guy, and I think that's John Malkovich. Do you know who that is?
I do. So
it's not Mole Man.
It's not Mole Man. I saw a theory about it being an older version of Doctor Doom, but I don't think that's it. He does look a lot like a character called Red Ghost.
Okay.
Red Ghost is a Soviet scientist who experiments, or I guess really communicates / mind controls primates. So apes, gorillas, that kind of sort, and kind of unleashes havoc for the Fantastic Four to kind of clean up.
Okay.
I could see him. This is kind of leaning into one of my theories for later. But if he's really good at mind control or communication in that sort of manner, part of me thinks he might be a vital, I guess, communication beacon for Reed Richards to communicate to Galactus.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that same science would hold up, but that's just kind of a theory.
And then do you have any before you want to get into your theories?
Let's see.
You put something about multiversal travel.
I did.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't notice that.
So Reed Richards was working on a blackboard, and clearly he was investigating wormholes and
I didn't pay
multiversal
that
travel.
much attention to it.
I've seen the trailer at least 10 times at this point, so I went through and specifically looked for every possible little nugget that I could find. But yes, he's very clearly working on multiverse travel, and this is going to lean so far heavily into my theories because this could mean a number of things. But lastly, they made a Beatles reference at the end where the arrows pointing inwards when they're on that stage is a direct reference to the Ed Sullivan Show when the Beatles were performing. Very, very fun and interesting stuff. So you also have... You want to talk about AI for a second?
Yeah, there is one thing. There have been accusations of Marvel using AI in some of the posters, just because some of the people's faces look the same. But there's also, if you zoom in on one of the hands, it is missing a finger, and it is a super photorealistic style. So no human would do that in that style. So. They deny it, but they definitely did.
Well, someone claimed that the pointer finger is actually on top of the middle finger. And I can maybe see just the smallest shadow or darkest shading. Or do you think that's just the closed palm?
No. Because if you look at that finger, it's also abnormally large. I hope that they don't use any of that in their future, because
they got extreme backlash when they did it for Secret Invasion.
Yeah, like I heard from one person who I'm mutuals with who just is like, I haven't seen any. I just quit Marvel for that, because like some people are really serious about that, and I'm
serious about that
because it's full on stealing from people.
Right.
I hope that I like using it in promotion art. Yeah, it kind of sucks, especially when you as a company kind of have Alex Ross on retainer basically.
Right.
Just if you want to do a photorealistic, you could just because Alex Ross.
He could do it so well.
Is slower than normal comic book artists.
Yeah.
But he's a painter, and he's much faster than other painters. That's one of the things about him, and he could put probably in less than a month.
If you give him a heads up, he'll have that whipped up in less than a month.
He does 2 pages in like a week or less.
Yeah.
Like he's very fast.
Yeah.
So just like it's like you're an art, like you're a studio built on artist. It kind of sucks that you have to do that.
Yeah. All right. You ready for some theories?
Yes.
Okay. So my first theory is I think. All right. So the Fantastic Four got their powers after going up into a rocket ship, getting hit with cosmic waves, cosmic radiation, and then they came pretty much crashing back down to Earth.
Okay.
My theory is that they're initially from Earth 616. Okay? They go up into space, they hijack the rocket, everything. They get hit with cosmic waves, but they also find themselves in a wormhole that sends them into an alternate dimension.
Oh, that's interesting. I could see that. I could 100% see that being the case.
Right. Because as of right now, the Fantastic Four, yes, you've got Galactus, but their whole public image seems too good. And when it seems too good, it means they're probably lying about something. They might be so beloved, and maybe everyone does love them. But I'm thinking that they're not supposed to be there.
Maybe. I don't know. That makes sense. I definitely interpreted like they're like that more as just like playing into like the family, just like lying thing, like just like putting on like a good face. It's like, hey, this is like an idyllic family,
right?
But like what you said, that 100% makes sense.
Because like when in the issue, because it makes perfect sense because if this happened during the Cold War, there was so much cover up in the Cold War, like back in the 60s. So in Fantastic Four #1, they do hijack a rocket. They do steal a rocket ship that goes up into space, and they get their powers. So this could be something that the government kind of like didn't want the public to know about, and they kind of just like scratched off all records because they didn't want to spark more fear about a rocket going up into space and having 4 astronauts disappear. Just a thought. Just a thought. Let's see. I kind of knocked out 2 of my birds with my 2 points with 1 stone. So yes, in the trailer we saw Reed Richards working on multiversal research. I said this means 3 things. 1, he's trying to get back to Earth 616.
The mainline Marvel universe. I'm not going to call it 616.
Or the Sacred Timeline, I guess, if you've seen Loki or Deadpool and Wolverine. 2, he could be accidentally or purposefully seeking out the Council of Reeds.
Okay.
And 3, it's an escape plan for Galactus.
Okay.
Because I don't see... Well, actually, I'll get to this later, but I'll tell you why in a bit, why I think it might be an escape plan for Galactus. We talked about Red Ghost. Okay, so here I've got multiple ideas for endings that Fantastic Four could potentially take. So 1, I said 1 of 3, but I think I wrote a 4th one down the road. So 1, the Fantastic Four does win, and maybe there's a happy ending. Okay?
Yeah.
2, Galactus wins, and the Fantastic Four either purposefully or accidentally escape Galactus, leaving their former world to perish.
Yeah.
Or 3, Galactus is defeated, but Doctor Doom tampers with the plans of the Fantastic Four, leading to global destruction with himself and the Fantastic Four hurtling back towards Earth 616.
Okay.
And then I said in all caps, okay, Grant has one other Galactus theory. With Avengers Doomsday on the horizon, I think that in order to save the world that they're currently on, they travel to Earth, or 616, Sacred Timeline, whatever, while teleporting Galactus. They're able to somehow pull Galactus into 616 as well, because the Fantastic Four alone can't take Galactus on their own.
Yeah.
I know it's called Doomsday, and that's probably because of Doctor Doom, but in Fantastic 149, or not 49, 149, it's in Fantastic Four 49, it's titled If This Be Doomsday.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Oh, man, Stanley was so good at titles.
So that means that it might be cool to see more than just the Fantastic Four try to take on Galactus. If you make this a whole world problem, and you've got the entire Avengers trying to take down Galactus, that'd be cool. I really don't think that this is going to happen, but there is quite a lot of comic book evidence to support this potentially happening.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I think I heard one person say, what if they just do like the ending from Coming of Galactus, where like they get the ultimate nullifier, which
I hope we see the ultimate nullifier
then,
so badly.
and then it doesn't work because like that was Reed bluffing. Like he wouldn't end everything.
And
just to
Galactus
save
calls
the
the
Earth.
bluff.
Yeah, Galactus just calls the bluff. It is like, no, I'm just gonna eat this.
Yeah.
because I know you're not gonna. And then they get like transported, whatever.
But I truly believe like Fantastic Four probably won't have a happy ending, or at least not 100%. Someone's gonna lose.
I've always been more of a fan of like Galactus is an eldritch being with shorts, so you can't fight him.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever. I trust the people making this, like
Absolutely.
the director, because he made
Absolutely.
WandaVision, and I think one other thing that was good.
I've got one more theory. And this has actually gotten a lot of traction on social media too. So I said in my notes, I'm praying to the universe that the Council of Reeds does happen sometime down the road, and we get to meet the Maker, because the Maker is an essential part of Secret Wars.
The Maker is one of my favorite characters.
Now,
one of my favorite villains.
Who should the Maker be played by? Miles Teller.
I've heard that too,
and that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because
like,
you could have him,
he's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
I think he could pull off.
You
the
could
Maker.
have him like kill off the other members of the Fantastic Four, just go absolutely wild and psychotic, and I think that would be one of the best. Like, that would be so gratifying to see. Yeah. I don't know. These are just theories, and if you're my parents, or if you're Jonah's parents and you're listening, or if you're just some casual listener and you have no idea what we're talking about, then that's probably totally fine. But we're nerds, and we started
off with like pop culture stuff,
right?
So I think it balances out.
Yeah.
You also have some Hollywood drama.
Mm-hmm. Hollywood's a mess right now. My boy Ryan Reynolds and his wife Blake Lively are going through some It Ends With Us drama, and God, do I want to stay out of drama so badly. But it does rope in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
And so the whole It Ends With Us drama is happening with Justin Baldoni, who is the director and co-star for It Ends With Us.
And that was the Blake Lively movie from like early
last
this
year.
fall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And Baldoni is claiming like defamation, and Blake Lively is like trying to like sue for sexual assault and some other workplace nastiness going on. But Baldoni is claiming that in an effort to mock him, Nice Pool from Deadpool and Wolverine was supposed to mock him, because he very much is like Baldoni in real life claims to be like such a feminist, and he's very like zen, and he's made inappropriate comments, just like he made comments about Blake Lively's body in Deadpool and Wolverine, saying like all the weight she lost, like because he made those similar comments to Blake Lively allegedly in the set of It Ends With Us. And then of course you have Nice Pool being used as a shield and then brutally murdered by the rest of the Deadpool Corps.
Yeah, I thought that was just like Ryan Reynolds making fun of like himself.
I don't think so, because
but like I guess this makes more sense.
Because I saw another, because all of this evidence is kind of lining up just right. Because even Nice Pool's hairstyle matches a hairstyle that Baldoni had a couple years back too.
Okay.
And there was like, people kept saying he was like trying to sage the set, like burn sage and kind of, burn out the evil spirits or whatever. And there was a store that Deadpool and Wolverine were right in front of that had like sage in the name, which makes me think that none of the storefronts were done on accident. Everything had a reason for being there. So
yeah, I mean, to me, that was like one of the parts of the movie that didn't. I mean, it is an in-joke, and it seemed like an in-joke that also. But if it's, I like in-jokes, but if it's only for like 5 people,
right?
Like for information, I don't know. It seemed a little weird,
right?
But I mean, I hope everything there turns out okay.
Yeah. But lastly, the next Scream movie has been facing a lot of problems.
That would be like what, 9, 10 now?
I think we're on 8.
Okay.
I think we're on Scream 8. But Matthew Lillard, have you seen the first Scream movie? No. Okay, so Matthew Lillard, who played Stu Macher in the first Scream movie, who is supposedly dead after getting electrocuted by having a TV go through his head, is coming back.
Okay.
We don't know if it's going to be as kind of like the same vision that Billy Loomis's daughter had in the previous Scream movies, or if he's actually live. Like, it seems very, since, Scream essentially is, parroting a bunch of horror movies before it, they could totally bring him back and be like, haha, I actually wasn't dead. Like, and he could be an ally. He could be an actual, Scream killer, the Ghostface killer. But I am very excited to have him back because, he did some, I begrudgingly went to go see Five Nights at Freddy's. I had never played the game. I had friends who had seen it and they really wanted me to go. And I was sitting through this movie. I'm like, this is the dumbest freaking thing I've ever watched. I mean, it was a horrible movie, but Matthew Lillard is very good. He's very funny. I want him to come to Comic-Con so badly. I think that would be neat. But yeah, no, I'm finally excited that, we're getting at least a pretty legacy name back for, I think, what's going to be Scream 8.
And then the Duffer Brothers, the creators of Stranger Things, have.
Whoa! We've got one other thing.
Oh yeah. There's a new Jurassic World trailer. I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll be quick about this. I did see the trailer, and I had not watched, because didn't Jurassic World have like a trilogy?
Yes.
Right.
I saw the first two.
I saw the first one. Okay. I don't think I watched
the second one. Was bad. And then I didn't see the third one because my best friend, my other best friend, who's a really big Jurassic Park fan, didn't like the third one.
Okay. So clearly that part of the franchise kind of fell off. And, first, you could argue that the trilogy, the first three were okay. But, we're finally getting another Jurassic World movie, Jurassic World Rebirth. I think that's what it was called.
Yes.
And I did look at it, and it seems very fresh.
Yeah, I've heard that they're taking a more horror angle.
They're taking a more horror angle, and they're really leaning into going back to Jurassic Park, like that Jurassic Park era. Like, they're going back to the labs and the old museum building that, that says "Welcome to Jurassic Park" or something like that. The giant T-Rex. Like, clearly this is paying a lot of tribute to the trilogy. And then, they're poking fun at, raptors and the kitchen scene from the Jurassic Park movies. And it seems fun. Scarlett Johansson is going to be in it. Who's that breakout star from Wicked? He's like a really big name in musicals.
I don't know.
Whatever. But you've also got Mahershala Ali playing like a pirate.
Mahershala Ali's good.
Yeah. In fact, I think this was one of the reasons why Blade didn't work out, was because he was busy shooting this Jurassic World movie.
Okay.
So yeah, no, that seems. If it's well received by the critics, I might go see it. But
you're cautiously optimistic.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel good about this.
Yeah, we are a little bit ahead of pace, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Moving on to Don't Change the Channel. There's some new Stranger Things stuff.
Yeah. So per usual, we've always got news that happens right after our show is done, and Stranger Things posted on their Instagram a wanted poster of Jane Hopper, and
or
11, yeah.
I forget what happened to Elle.
Well, that's the thing is I recently just rewatched all of Stranger Things, and she was still hanging out with her friends. Like, she was with everyone. They were just kind of overseeing the destruction of Hawkins so far.
Okay. Yeah.
Which means something happened to her in between
seasons?
These two seasons.
Because I assume that season 5 was just going to pick up right where season 4 was.
No. I think there's like a time jump.
Okay.
I think I think they said that there's going to be a pretty massive time gap of like 4 or 5 years, I think.
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess that makes sense because they don't look.
You had COVID, you had the writer strike, you had, all of that.
And like they're supposed to be like sophomores in high school.
Right.
But they very much don't look like sophomores in high school.
So it's like Hawkins has already pretty much turned upside down, I guess.
Yeah, like
you could say.
Like it kind of got wrecked. I don't know. I'm excited. It's been a while. I'm probably going to need to see at least season 4 again. I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole series.
It's really
again,
good,
but I'm going to see season 4 again. When does season 5?
I heard November of this year.
Okay.
Just very it wasn't confirmed, but someone did a little data mining and saw November of this year. But also when you call, because there's a phone number at the bottom of the wanted poster, if you call, it sends you straight to the Hawkins Police Department, and it's like an automated message saying that they're looking for a one Jane Hopper and evacuate the area, yada yada yada. Hawkins is in shambles. So
interesting.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and then they're gonna have spinoffs.
Yeah,
they're thinking about it.
They've already started like conceptualizing some spin-off stuff. I don't think anything has been greenlit at all, but they do have plans for the Stranger Things franchise after season 5 ends. And I'm not sure what they could do. You could do like some focuses on some characters or some prequels. Maybe I know there's a lot of Stranger Things books that have leaned into Hopper before he came to Hawkins, Indiana.
Yeah, and there have been some comics that... So there's one episode in season 2 when Elle went to Chicago.
Yeah.
And like for like those people there and the other people in the program.
Yeah. That could be interesting seeing.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted to do something with that. Of it, like it seemed like after season 2 that they're going to do a lot of stuff with that, and they did like a couple comics I don't even think did very well. I mean, they're fine.
Yeah.
And then they kind of have abandoned that whole plot line.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Maybe it happens in the future, but I can't imagine that people that like 8 years later people aren't like, hey, I gotta know what happened with 8 or whatever.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like you can still absolutely bring these characters back who were in season 2. Like,
yeah,
they were all okay. I think 11 just ended up abandoning them to go help their friends.
My guess that if they do a spinoff, it'll be more either like prequel stuff or stuff that they set up.
Yeah.
With this new season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas?
I mean,
for this, because I don't know.
I would be really interested to see. I guess because I reviewed the Stranger Things VR game not too long ago, and I loved it, and it really explored how Vecna became really all gross and disfigured, and how he began to control the Upside Down. And when I was playing that game, I didn't know if it was like, I assumed that this is probably canon with the rest of Stranger Things, but that would be really cool to see. Henry Creel 11 or not 11 Vecna kind of go about. It could be like a one season thing. I mean, that's probably what they could do for a lot of these. It's just kind of like a one season type thing.
Yeah.
Or just like, here's 8 episodes of whatever, Hopper, in Chicago or New York, or a prequel to Hawkins Laboratories, them doing the experiments. 11, I guess Millie Bobby Brown is probably a little bit too old. They tried to they did de-age her in season 4, which it didn't look 100% right, but I understood what they were trying to do, and it still looked really good. But I was like, that's definitely fake. So
yeah, I mean,
what about you? Do you have any wish list
honestly,
stuff?
I don't.
I just love the Demogorgons. I need to see more Demogorgons.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they in that series, they do a really good job of setting up that world.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do, but I don't know. Like for that show, they do a really good setting up that world. I don't know if I honestly don't know where to go from there without trending back to that season 2 stuff, or because like I don't think that people care enough about those characters in order to be like, hey, I gotta know, because if they were going to do a spinoff of those characters, they would have done it 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Moving on to more Don't Change the Channel news. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes 3, 4, 5 dropped. I don't think either of us are caught up.
I'm not 100% caught up. I saw the next 2 episodes, but would you prefer if I just don't mention any spoilers from the first 2?
Well, yeah. I mean, I've only seen episode 1. We'll probably do like no spoilers on this for a while, maybe until it's done in general.
So the most I can say so far is Spider-Man is getting help from people.
Yeah.
He's finding allies. He's finding enemies.
Yeah.
He's struggling to protect his secret identity. I mean, one of the episode titles is literally named Identity Crisis. Or Secret Identity Crisis. I think that's what they called it, was Secret Identity Crisis. We did, I don't think this is so much a spoiler, but we did get a really good look at Doc Ock.
Okay.
And he looks fantastic. And
Yeah.
also, this isn't so much of a spoiler. I might have mentioned this last week, but I keep seeing what I think is Reed Richards everywhere in New York City.
Really?
Everywhere.
I'll have to...
It's the black hair, white on the sides. Sometimes he wears glasses, sometimes he doesn't. And I'm like, that's Mr. Fantastic. You can't be putting in someone with that distinct facial features and have that not be Mr. Fantastic.
I'll have to look at that, because...
And this isn't so much of a spoiler either, but in the next upcoming episodes, he gets essentially a future Foundation suit, but it was not made by Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, is made by the other guy. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm gonna catch up this weekend probably, and we'll probably be able to talk more about that. Moving on to some game news. I would have one question for you. When is the thing coming to Marvel Rivals?
Supposedly mid to late February.
Okay.
They should be getting in here quite soon. I've seen already the character models, like just some preview type stuff.
Yeah. Is he gonna say it's clobbering time?
I'm implying that when you use his ultimate ability, he will say it's clobbering time. You can't have, or at least for some part, one of his moves are gonna say it's clobbering time. I promise you.
Yeah. Do you think that he's gonna say it's clobbering time in the movie?
Evan Moss Backrack already said yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, he's already... I think he went on to Jimmy Fallon, one of the Jimmys, and they did ask. One of the Jimmys asked Moss Backrack if he does say it's clobbering time, and he does say yes. He does say that, which is...
It's an all-time...
Everyone's going to nerd out.
That is an all-time catchphrase, I think.
Yeah.
Moving on to Comic Corner news. So... We haven't read the comics from this week. We've been too busy.
Yes.
Stuff is going on. But there's some comics from last week that I read. I read the Lex Luthor special.
Okay.
That came out.
Oh, I did see you pick that up. How was that?
It's very good. It is, like, I guess more or less essential to the Superman book, which kind of frustrates me.
Oh.
Because, like... Stuff happened. Okay, so Lex Luthor, he during the House of Brainiac event. Okay, so Lex Luthor was kind of becoming a good guy. He was like in jail, but he was like helping Superman out, and he was still like being Lex Luthor. He was still being a jerk, but he was helping Superman out. And then he helped Superman defeat Doomsday because Brainiac last year. If there's one thing you can always count on Lex Luthor doing is that he will fight aliens. So if you're doing an alien invasion story, Lex Luthor always like helps out, and then he usually tries to stab people in the back, but this time he lost his memory, and he's been kind of like trying to be a dad to his daughter, and like been flirting with like Mercy Graves, and it's like it's cute, and like he has like a beard and stuff, and like he's like a good guy. He's like, I don't know if I want to like remember my past, because it seems like I was a piece of work. And then in this, like, Superman kind of like needs his brain, like his old brain. And then Lex Luthor's kind of like in denial about getting his memories back. This isn't really a spoiler, but I mean, it says, because it kind of says on the title, he's back. He is back. And then I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. This Superman series has been doing a really good job of like keeping me posted week to week, month to month. I was like, oh, are they gonna keep that? Is Lex with his memories back? Is he gonna go back to being a bad guy? I mean, I know like eventually he will be, but like, will it be now or will it be later?
Yeah.
Is he still going to flirt with Mercy Graves because like they're being like weirdly cute, even though they're both terrible people?
Yeah.
I've read X-Men number 10.
Okay, how's that?
It's good.
Because I dropped that.
I've been missing the Jen McKay art a little bit, but it's better in this issue than it was usually.
Yeah.
We're building up to the X-Manhunt.
Oh, right.
That's the event coming up. And I did, because I'm mutual with Gail Simone, the writer from Uncanny X-Men on Blue Sky. So I asked her, like, hey, am I going to need, is it, because with some X-Men events, especially during the Krakoan age, like, it's a crossover from title to title, but it's just one story, and you kind of have to read all of them, or else it's not going to make sense, which is exhausting, because I'm a college student, and I don't have, and like I don't want to buy every single. I mean, I'm buying some of them, but I don't want to buy all of them. And she said, no, you should be able to get the story if you just read.
She responded back to you?
Yeah, we're mutuals, and I did like the @ thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Not to brag.
Yeah,
Gail Simone follows me.
Wow. You should add her and ask her to tune in sometime. Have her as a special guest here.
I think she lives on the West Coast.
That's fine. We can fly her out.
No, we can't.
No,
we do not have money for that.
No,
also,
can't.
she's a busy woman.
She can travel.
Anyway, yeah. So, presumably you're just gonna have to pick up the Alpha and Omega issues and kind of just read what you're reading.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. I'm excited for that. Kind of. If you know anything about that, Marvel released like a trailer for the event, which they do sometimes now.
I did see that.
It kind of looks like a motion comic, and like Xavier is escaping, and it's gonna like cause like maybe another schism in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Those are always interesting because he's done a lot of shady stuff recently. To see how that turns out. Do you have anything like going on? And
not in comics. I do have. Once we get through Comic Corner, I heard a rumor earlier today, and it's been already confirmed by 2 other sources. So after you're done with your comics breakdown, I have some pretty semi-exciting news to share.
Yeah, and then next week we'll be back. I'll be reviewing, Birds of Prey, Batgirl, Batman Dark Patterns, Absolute Batman, X-Men number 11, just stuff from this week and next week.
Yeah.
And then more stuff. Wolverine number 800, like Legacy 800 is coming up. This April, and Daniel Warren Johnson is going. He's kind of a superstar artist, and he's coming back to Marvel to work on that.
All right, you're done with Comic Corner. We've got some reports for the first castings for the X-Men. So I'll list off the names first, and then I'll show you pictures of who it is. So for Cyclops, we've got Harris Dickinson, who was in the Iron Claw, not the White Claw, Iron Claw and Baby Girl, and he's playing Cyclops.
Okay.
I
haven't seen either of those.
Sadie Sink.
Oh,
from Stranger Things
and Fear Street,
playing Jean Grey.
Oh, really?
And then we've got Julia Butters, who was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as Shadowcat / Kitty Pryde.
Oh, that's cool.
And we're looking at the pictures right now. Maybe I'll show the camera. I'll probably put something up on the screen for when we actually show this. But they look... That's a pretty good cast so far.
I don't know much about those other 2 characters, but Sadie Sink as Jean Grey seems like...
That seems like a home pretty run. Good casting.
Yeah, she's like well, like we're fans of Stranger Things. We like Stranger Things. But also, like, she's a good actor.
Yeah.
Especially, like...
Because she was also in The Whale with Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, and I mean, Fear Street was mediocre, but
that's right.
She did a really good job in Fear Street, I think.
Yeah. So again, these are reports, but I have got this confirmed from 2 other sources already. So it's kind of looking pretty likely.
Who's this coming from?
So this is coming from comicbook.com. This is where I get a lot of my news sources, but it did also get confirmed by Game Rant earlier today. So very exciting. I'll be sure to keep us updated.
And that's just for the X-Men movie?
Yes. So this is set to release in late 2027.
Okay.
So watch out for that. This will happen pretty much directly after Secret Wars.
Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Kitty Pryde. I mean, those seem like obvious picks, but but if those are the 3 leads, I think that's an interesting choice.
That is more than. I mean, that seems perfectly fine.
Well,
like, those are really solid.
I just think it's interesting because like they're not from the same generation of X-Men, and those actors seem about the same age.
Yeah.
But also I think in like X-Men Evolution, they're
more on evil or even
they made them all high schoolers.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, Geek Tyrant also was on it too. So we've got three sources confirming all this.
Usually stuff like that, when enough people pick it up.
And the internet is also dividing right now over Professor X castings right now, because obviously we need someone younger. So currently the top none of these are currently like rumored to be Professor X yet, but some of the leading contenders, and we'll see if any of these resonate with you. Ralph Fiennes, who, what did he do? He was in he was in the cook, the chef, whatever. The menu. Okay. He was in the menu. Daniel Craig, which I doubt Daniel Craig will actually be Professor X, considering the fact that he's rumored to play Sergeant Rock in the future of the DCU. Ewan McGregor, who is known as Obi-Wan, which I don't know if I can see him as Professor X.
I mean, he can do...
Maybe? I don't know.
I guess. He's a good enough actor where I think it's a kind of a wild choice, but
yeah,
I'll take it. I think it's good enough that I'll take it.
What about Bryan Cranston?
I mean, that makes sense. I think because Bryan Cranston is really good at villains.
Right.
And I think that there's a similar skill set to play Charles Xavier as the Red 2 villains.
Which has got to be a little bit of an a-hole sometimes.
Yes. He's not, like, a lot of people draw conclusions between him, and he is not Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
He uses child soldiers.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting. I think all of those seem okay. I think Ewan McGregor is kind of the weirdest one, but he gets thrown up. He gets thrown in for a lot of people, like for a lot of roles where it's like I would not picture that.
Yeah,
because like he also did Black Mask in the Birds of Prey movie, and it's like I would not be able to picture him as Black Mask, but he does a really good job.
That's true.
Yeah,
but
I think out of all of those, I think I like Bryan Cranston the best.
Bryan Cranston would be really good because he's still on the younger side, especially compared to Sir Patrick Stewart when he started off. Or maybe they're getting close to the same age.
Probably,
at this point.
But Patrick Stewart played him for like a really long time.
Yeah.
Too.
So I think if we've got a younger, because this is probably one of the youngest teams of X-Men we've seen
in live action. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna be playing high schoolers. Like none of those characters. Like none of those. My guess
definitely like early to mid 20s so far.
Yeah, my guess would be that those characters would be like late high school or like maybe like college age.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for an X-Men movie.
And I hope, like, this is my same hope for Fantastic Four, is I hope we get like at least a trilogy of each of the Fantastic Four, of X-Men. I mean, I would assume now that we have the X-Men rights, we can carry the X-Men for a pretty long time.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing X-Men comics since reliably since 1975. They stopped for a little bit there in the early 70s, but there are hundreds of characters.
Yeah, no,
you can tell stories about the X-Men forever. Whether or not people want to see stories, whether or not general audiences want to see that forever, that's another question. I certainly would, as long as they don't mess stuff up.
I think so far it's pretty solid so far.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen anything.
I like what I'm seeing,
but I don't know. I'm really excited about Sadie Sink as Jean Grey.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for joining us on this week's episode of We Could Do It Better. We'll be here next week on Thursday, regular time slot, 12:30, only on WCRD 91.3 FM.
And stay safe, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.